Hey everyone, this is Youth Following Christ TT, and I come with an interesting sermon today. This is about the times when I describe from my life when you feel like you lost perspective on things and you feel like you don't know where you're going in your life as a Christian. You don't know. You just don't know, you don't like where your life has come, and you start to lose courage, and, you start to want to give up and whatnot. But then you remember I was inspired by another sermon by a brother, and it says, and he said about going back to the beginning. So that's what I'm going to do. The first verse I want to start with is in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So in the beginning, God. So whatever you're going through, or I could describe from my experience, right? Maybe you're hurt by family members, but then you have to worry. Then you have to wonder. You think in your mind, were they in the beginning? Okay. The verse says, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, it says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, but, I don't want to explain anything. Let the scriptures, speak for itself, The other verse, another verse I wanted to show today is John chapter 1. And in John chapter 1, it says, from verse 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. So you see there in the beginning was the Word. Okay? And I'll just say this, I've been going back to the beginnings of my life, although my life's not important, but, just to get myself back in focus, I wonder, why did I start? You should read Job chapter 3 and Jeremiah chapter 20. They talk about how, basically why were they born. They wish that, you should read it to get the context, talking about, basically, cursed be the day, that, I was born. You should read, these chapters, to get the correct word. And, I'm kind of quoting, from, I don't know the word, but, not word for word, but, But you see, the thing is, I've been going back, and saying, what did I do in the beginning? Okay, I feel like I've lost certain things, but what was life like before I had these things? Were these things important to me? And no, it's not about, that thing or these people, that came in and left and, for a season. The main focus is Jesus Christ, the Word, the Word made flesh. So I hope you're understanding so far, the point I'm trying to make. Next, I know in John 17, Jesus talks about, let me see if I can get the verse. It talks about how Jesus, he talks about the same glory I had with you before the world was. Let me see. All right, so John chapter 17, I'll start from verse 4. I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou gavest me to do. And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. You know, I can't really explain it, but I just thought it interesting as I'm thinking about, you know, beginnings and what were things like before, okay, you know, and you know, but it's not for me to explain or understand fully everything, you know, I should say, because I'm just a man, you know, I can't know everything, but I just thought, you know, I just like those verses. In Revelation chapter 1, verse 8, it says, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. So you see the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. Matthew 24, 37 to 39. I thought this was, I like this here. I like the whole Bible, actually. I thought this was interesting. Talking about the end times. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So you see there, you know, it talks, you know, these verses, it talks about like before, you know, the beginning, the ending, you know. Jesus is the author and the finisher of our faith. And the same glory, you know, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. And you know, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and in the beginning was the Word, you know, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So I preach this message because, you know, all these things, you know, the inspiration from these messages come from, you know, comes from other brethren, things that they might say that inspired me, but also comes from my personal experiences, the pain that I go through, you know, things that happen in my life. Just like, you know, a songwriter, you know, they write about their own things that happen to them. You know, I feel like that's, you know, a lot of what the messages I preach, you know, it's a lot of them start off from things that I may have been going through, and say, hey, that could be a good sermon. But I felt very inadequate, I know, lately as a Christian, you know. Sometimes I feel like the worst Christian ever, you know, like I'm simply not worthy to be serving Christ because of what happened in the past with me. I'm 26 years old, you know, but I remember, you know, I've been going back to when I was a teenager, coming out of school, you know, in my school uniform, and that was around the time when, you know, I started learning about God, and before I got actually saved in 2013, but in 2012 is when I graduated from high school, and I've been going back to those times, and I've been thinking, what was it like back then? You know, why? You know, I'm going back to the beginning, because next year will make, I think, 10 years since I've been saved, you know. And I've been thinking about that, and it's like, you know, my school years ended, and you know, basically I was could say I was into adulthood now. And what were things like, I feel that way right now. Certain things that I had, it says about the Lord giveth and he taketh away. I had certain things, I had experiences that happened to me that just came to nothing, that ended. Maybe I might go into more detail, maybe I may not, maybe in a future thing, maybe. But I'm not really comfortable with sharing all of it right now, for various reasons. But maybe sometime in the future, if the Lord is willing, if we have that much time, I may actually come out and show who I am and talk about it, hopefully. But not right now, maybe, I don't know. So I've been thinking about that. And I've been trying to go back and go into perspective as to, why, the people who witnessed to me at first, I remember some preachers came to our school and talked to us about Christ and were giving away King James Bibles, and I don't know much about them and what exactly they believe, but I thank God for it. I still have the Bible, and I was thinking, I was going back to those times, and I have family members, cousins, and uncle and neighbors that believe in God, and I still talk to them, and I wonder, why did they witness to me? Why did they answer my questions and correct some of my wrong thinking and get me to be the man I am today? They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to, bother with me, but why? Why did they? I remember somebody very close to me bringing a Bible. It was a children's Bible, but I still appreciate it because, it got my mind thinking about heavenly things. So that's what I've been doing, I'm going back to the beginning. But the most important thing is going back, in the beginning, and the Word was God, okay? Okay, and in the beginning was the Word. Okay, and Jesus is the Alpha and Omega. He is, and he was, and he is to come. So I hope this helps somebody. I'm not the best preacher, or if I may call myself that, or evangelist, or anything. I don't. I don't even. I hope that it helps somebody out there, and I hope that you also get things in perspective too. I don't know what much more to say. Probably one of the worst Christians, probably the worst Christians you'd ever meet. But I just hope that if you're saved, that God will bless you, and I hope that if you're not, that you consider getting saved. So that's it for today, and bye.